Ladies and gentlemen, in the next few months, United States of America will be heading to a general election. And in this channel, we analyzed that that election will have a big impact on what America wants to do in Africa. And rather, American penetration in Africa. Recently, there was a delegation here to actualize the AGOA extension. There was a delegation from the Congress here that was dispatched by President Biden to look at what's going on locally. And I once analyzed to you, I think I analyzed here, that President Ruto's handlers must question why, despite of that global liking that allegedly they're getting, why is it not translating to traction locally? That video is in this channel. You can Google it. And if I know for members of this channel, you have seen that video. That video is here. But I want to say this. As the anti-finance bill protests are going on, it's been getting traction. And there are a few developments that are happening in the country that you can pay attention to. You realize that these protests have been attracting global newsrooms. The global newsrooms have been paying attention here. They've been covering. And even some other global leaders have also been covering. I understand that there was that plot by that Steve, I don't know, to visit the country, Kenyan. Those are not there. So, I want you to watch this. In Oman, in UK, in the US, protests, Kenyans are now mobilizing, and there are more other countries. I've also seen Canada mobilizing. Australia is also mobilizing for the diaspora community to join the Kenyan protests. And I want you to look at these videos from the US. Exclusively, they were sent to me by one of our subscribers from the US here. And I want us to look at these videos because there is something we need to learn as a country between what's happening, because those are also Kenyans. They're in another place and they're protesting against what is happening here. And I want us to make some observations from what happened in the youth protests in the Oman.
Viva! 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 Reject finance bill. Reject kabisa. Hasa kama vile tunaona leo tuko hapa na jeshi yangu, na hii ni kidogo sana. Tuna jeshi kubwa zaidi ni vile wa kazini. Tuna jeshi kubwa zaidi ambayo tunasimamia kusema wa Kenya mwaka Oman. Tumepinga kabisa na tunakataa ishindwe na ilegee hiyo finance bill 2024. We reject it. Na pia tunataka tuwapongeze sana Gen Z kwa ile kazi nzuri ambayo wanafanya. Tunaomba muendelee namna hiyo hiyo. Muendelee namna hiyo hiyo. Nyinyi ndio future ya Kenya. Nyinyi ndio mnaleta mabadiliko. Sawa sawa? Wanasema bana, unajua if you are not at the table, then you are probably on the menu. Usikubali kuwa kwa menu. Kwa decision makers pia nyinyi wachukulie serious kabisa. Leo tunasema nini? Reject. Reject. Viva. Viva. Reject. 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 Asante sana.
Watoto wetu wajifunze.
Reject the finance.
One Kenya, one people. One people, one voice. Thank you for gathering here today. As Kenyans living in Los Angeles, we are united by our love for our homeland.
Ruto must go! Ruto must go! Ruto must go! Ruto must go! Reject the finance bill! Reject the finance bill!
Hello, my name is Trina Jirage. I am a model, I'm a nurse, and I'm a reality TV personality, and I'm privileged to be here in Los Angeles to still represent our motherland, Kenya, and say hashtag reject finance bill.
Hello, my name is Eli Mwenda. I'm a content creator online, and just seeing the kind of support online and the way we've all come together, the Gen Zs, it's really showing a change in the times. I'm so proud of us. Let's not let up. It's a very, very important week, and let's just say reject the finance bill.
Ruto must go. Reject the finance bill. It's where you spend most of your time. Which one of you just said? When we lose our fear, they lose their power. When we lose our fear, they lose their power.
Ruto must go.
Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Not like the other one.
The few things you will realize. Number one, the protests have included all generations. It is not Alpha, it is not Z, it is not Generation X. The children, the youth, their parents were all there. They went there even with the children. And actually, it's the children who are carrying that finance bill, anti-finance bill protest. And this is something that, this is an image that if Kenya sees, they will have a big problem. They will really have a big issue with what's going on here. I want you to imagine if we go to town with our children. Imagine. William Ruto will be beaten in it. I don't know whether, if people decide to go people go to protest with their children, carrying their children, just imagine. Can you use tear gas? No. Can you arrest the parents? No. If one of the protest people, pregnant women, carried placards saying na huyu mtoto nitampeleka wapi. So there's a strong message. And governments must see that from what's happening there, the American team was sending a message that all of us are in it. Number two, they were very peaceful. Protests, carrying placards, and this is what also has been happening here. By the way, no one is carrying a stone. No one is carrying a stone. Either someone is just carrying placards. I've seen people. Someone's just carrying placards, or just a handkerchief showing decent and dressed in black. Maybe you brand your shirt. And I took keen interest on the presence of the heavy police presence. Those people are not many. But look at the police presence and the police that were there. Look at the conduct of the police. You didn't see tear gas being thrown on people. And by the way, then they're even close to the embassy. They were at the gate of the embassy, of the Kenyan embassy in the US. They were at the gate and they were protesting there. The police were even pocketing. They didn't bother even to look at what so-and-so is doing. They were just in their comfort. No tear gas, no nothing, no attack, hakuna rungu, you know. And in fact, look at those vehicles. Those are not what is lori kubwa kubwa. There is no difference between what those Kenyans did there and what is being done in Nairobi. So I think Kenyan police must take a pen and get some notes from what's happening in the US. It's critically important. And I realize they're just carrying phones and taking their videos and speaking about what they believe is not right as far as the country is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to look at this in depth. Why the anti-government resentment is blowing off the American script in Kenya with President Ruto. The Biden script in Kenya is getting rippled, is actually being teared in the middle by these protests. Because a protest is a show of resentment. And the defiance that is coming is huge. People are defying church leaders. They're telling church leaders, you guys are the people that voted and campaigned for this government. You guys must speak. People are defying any other person and any other order. So it's a very big message. But before that, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for members of this channel. We were able to visit Mama Evans Kiratu in Gavareine. This is the mother to Evans, the guy who was killed in the protest here in Nairobi. And as I said, I just wanted to go and thank you for accompanying me. Yeah, I know we could not be on camera for reasons. People will say, wacha we hii ni chakua kwa Limelight. But I managed to get with 3. I managed to go with 3, and we condoled with the mother. What I've exclusively confirmed from them is that the burial is going to be on Friday. This Friday, that will be on 28th. So that is the day that they're planned for the burial, and the process is going on. One thing I also need to confirm, I've realized there are quite a number of people that still have interest. Me, I had finished, I just visited, that was part. But if you still want to do something, you can still, because the support is needed there. Yeah, I like the fact that nilienda ground. So if I tell you, if you ask me, I can answer you. Because I spoke with her. I stayed with her for almost 2 hours there, and we thank God kwamba ako strong na tunamwombea. God be with him, be with her, mpatie strength during this difficult time. I like those who are saying let's put her in prayers, and we believe that yes, she's and let me just give you a snippet. When I was talking to them, one of the aunties was telling us that she will join the protest. Then I was like, why is she joining in anger? She said, Evans died fighting for me. And because now Evans has been killed, no one is going to fight for me. So I will join. Hey, then I said, when? You said Tuesday. Yes. I know it's sorrow, but that is the level, you know, and that is why I can tell you, if you continue abducting these young people and the violation of human rights, the parents are getting more agitated. Like she said, oh, Evans died, and by the way, understand, alikuwa ameanza kuishi peke yake only 1 month. Only 1 month when she came to Nairobi. She was conductor. Alianza kazi ya conductor, then alianza kazi ya conductor, then akapata kazi ya kuuza viatu. Then from there, the mother now said, no, I want you to learn something. So he had started something on plumbing. But since then, he only stayed alone. He was staying with the mother before. So it's only for May that he went and now pangad his own house. Then he struggled and now he was on the street. Then he met his death. The aunt is saying, I will join the protests. Where? In Nairobi. Why? The guy who died, who was killed, was fighting for me. So no one is there to fight for me. So I must go and replace him. Oh. We must fix something in this country. At least we must fix something. Let me get to this. Why the anti-Ruto resentment is blowing off the American script here. It's very important. Number one, Ruto African command is dropping very fast. Let me tell you, I have been, since I started analyzing international politics, I have been following President Ruto's speech in the global stage. There are 2 things that William Ruto speaks about when he's in front of Wazungu. And I've realized those 2 things are not an African agenda, or it's not a Kenyan agenda. One, and you'll agree with me, people who follow, if you remember this channel and you've been following William Ruto's speeches outside the country, when there is a summit here, when there is a summit, I don't know where, every summit, these are the 2 messages William Ruto is talking about. Number one is climate change. That Europe must, because they're the biggest, they're the worst in terms of environmental conservation. Emissions, most of the emissions are coming from companies from Europe and affecting the world. The level of destruance that they are bringing to the country, to the world, to the earth, cannot compare to Africa. So they should help. That's number one. Number 2, he's talking about Africa getting expensive loans. Those 2 things. And you realize, and so he's saying restructure IMF, restructure World Bank. Restructure IMF, restructure World Bank, support IDF, African Development, ADB, African Development Bank, support this, support that. He has been pursuing the African agenda. He has been pursuing the African agenda, and most of these are in the US. Another good example is when US brought AGOA, Ruto was not the president. AGOA has been here for 20 years. A very good example, by the way. AGOA has been here for 20 years. So, during the recent visit, when Ruto was in the Congress, Ruto made a speech begging Congress for the AGOA to be extended. And apparently he was speaking on behalf of African countries. So you wonder, if America themselves, they brought AGOA, if they want to extend it, why must we send a president to go and beg them? And do you want to convince us that if they're extending AGOA, they're extending AGOA because William Ruto has asked? No. Themselves, they are beneficiaries of that AGOA, because through AGOA, they can dump their goods here. What Kagame was saying, that is locked at AGOA because Rwanda is not a dumping site for second-hand clothes. It creates a dumping site for them here. So even them, AGOA is a give and take between the US and the countries. But we were made to believe that Ruto had to go to US to beg for AGOA to be extended. I don't know whether you are getting this picture. So, and the language, the man that America has been using to speak on the interest of America in the continent is William Ruto. The more these protests are coming, the global eye is paying attention and people are getting to understand what's going on. Ruto is not going to command. Ruto is not going to have that voice. And there is a reason, I think there is a meeting, there is an event on Wednesday, Redson Blue. We are waiting and we are going to see how it will develop. Number 2, while in the US, President Ruto spoke about waiver of taxes on electronic cars for the next 1 year. Who is the manufacturer? Where are those electric cars being manufactured? In the US. Now, the protest is about taxation. And amongst the questions that Kenyans will ask, you are overtaxing us here, but electric vehicles from US, you are waiving taxes on. But I agree. Tax all the vehicles. The way been. Why would someone get a tax waiver? Because who benefits from the tax waiver? It's not exclusively the buyer. The buyer is one person. So, but the biggest beneficiary from these tax waivers is the importer from the manufacturer. And the importers, that supply chain is purely an American supply chain. So America will have a problem. How will you get tax waivers while on the other end Kenyans are asking about being overtaxed? Number 3. The level of awareness and public and the youth Generation Z public participation in governance and political discourse is going to tilt the political landscape very fast. The discussion is going to change. The moment, politicians have always found refuge in hiding behind their tribes. So you can just do things out here, you can just misbehave around. Then at election time, you now retreat to your tribe. Now start telling them, I'm one of your own, I'm one of your son, vote for me, support me, I am being fought. What Rigathi Gachagua is trying to do in Mount Kenya. So the political landscape is changing. And why America will have a problem here is it will be no longer about favoring Leader X to be the president, supporting, influencing election of Leader X. What will influence who becomes the president is the voice of the public. And when the voice of the public is there, then you cannot sneak in anything fishy. And that's why America will have a problem. Because what they normally do is they try to get their person and then they do the machinations, the heavy lifting for the person to thrust to power. Lastly, this is the test, the reality on American stake enough, the American intention in Kenya. The reality is now. America is touted as the most democratic in the world. I don't know that is true. If you speak to many global analysts, if you watch them, they don't believe that. They say that is just in paper. So one thing I would want, and we are waiting to hear, today civil society organizations were arrested at the DCI headquarters. Over the weekend, one youth was abducted in Bamburi, another one was abducted in South B here in Nairobi. The son to Attorney General was also abducted on Saturday night. And in Meru, there is also another abduction. And 2 Kenyans have also died, have also been killed in the protest. I am yet to hear the Meg Whitman condemning or issuing statement to government if indeed they believe on democratic principles. And this is exposing America very well. If you support Kenya, you support us and you support our democracy, then the leadership has also accepted, and it's in the Article 37 that the public are expressing their anger. The Generation Z that is not destroying has not vandalized everything or anything. Why is America not even coming out to say the government should stop those abductions? Why? Why? And this is exposing them. And that's why I'm telling you this protest, because what will they say? The interest is to put Ruto against the people and get their way. And I think retention of power for President Ruto is a big challenge. What they will want is, still if Ruto can retain power so that Ruto can advance those agendas. But retention of power is a big problem. I don't think it will be very easy for President Ruto. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and let's meet in the next.